Hang on just a second. You'll be missing something. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. If you have a line that looks like this, okay, all of these slanted line girls are going to have y mx plus b, okay? As long as they're diagonal, they can have positive, negative slopes. All of those have a rise over run, if you imagine going up and over, okay? But if I do this, and I try to count my, let's draw a little bit better vertical one. If I have an exact vertical line, by the way, exactly vertical, this answers Sarah's question. And Yana asked me, technically you should put arrows on it. I didn't in my example, so that's okay. Which axis did that just cut through? X or Y? X. So the answer to this is x equals 2. Now let's talk about the slope, okay? I can rise. Can you even count your rise? Like what if I go, my rise from right here is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can, that's never going to stop. And I certainly can't run. Do y'all see that I have no idea what my rise is, but I know that I'm also not even running. There's nowhere to run. So do you see how that is error, undefined, no slope? Pick one, okay? So I'm going to call that no slope. You might say undefined slope or no solution or whatever, okay? Now look at this. You have a horizontal line. I know that's kind of crooked, okay? Now, what are we going to do about to get from this point to this point? Evelyn? Yeah. What's my rise to get over here? Is there a rise? No. I don't rise at all, and I can run as far as I want. I can run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and get a dot. I can run backwards 1, okay? But it doesn't matter how far I run, whether this is a 7, a 17, or a 47. It doesn't matter because what's 0 divided by 47 would just be 0. This is like I brought in 0 cupcakes, and if you want me to divide it into 47 equal parts, we're still going to have no cupcakes, 0 cupcakes. What happens is what I just did. In the English language, many times we say, I have no cupcakes, when we mean I have 0 cupcakes. And that's where the confusion sets in, which was what Susan thoughtfully considered, is that in the English language, we use no slope and 0 sound a lot the same. In a math class, they're very different. That's why I use the super silly dramatic example of line writer has no hope of recovering. And so that's no slope, okay? This one, you can still go over there. It's just you're not going to go very fast. You're probably going to have to push yourself, okay? That one's 0. I've given you once and for all a really good way to decipher the 2 words. So again, it's not your fault. I wonder if in another language it's that hard to learn because maybe people don't say it that way. 0 to me is a number in this math class, okay? It's a number. So horizontal lines have 0 slope. Vertical lines have no slope. All right, now let's look at some things real quickly on the worksheet. I'm going to maybe answer them all real quickly. So have your worksheet out. If you didn't have that worksheet, you may want to look and complete it later.
Is that the slope?
No, it's the homework. We're on the homework. Okay, so I had already done an example for you. Computer should be closed, Ella, unless you want me to take that away from you. Okay. All right, x equals -3. Ella, remind me to show you something. 1, 2, 3. Is that horizontal or vertical? Vertical. And this vertical, so it has what we call no slope. If you want, check your work, okay? You could also say undefined. I will count off if you say 0, all right? Y equals 2. Where am I going to put y equals 2? Bailey?
We are going to go on the y-axis and go 2 up.
Very good, Bailey, thank you. Okay, horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, and since it's horizontal, it has 0 slope. All right? All right, the next few. Okay, so this one, x equals 0. Like Bailey said, we're going to go to the appropriate axis. We're going to go to the x-axis at 0, and we're going to draw a line through it. So it's kind of funny. X equals 0 just lands right on the y-axis. That's okay. It's vertical, and it has no slope or undefined slope. Just imagine line writer, not yourself. Imagine line writer falling, okay? Y equals -1 looks like this. If I actually had hit -1, sorry. It's perfectly horizontal, and it has 0 slope. X equals -1 is vertical, and it has no slope. It comes out down somewhere. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, y equals 3. Oh, what am I having you do now? Graph 2 lines on one thing, okay? Are these lines going to be horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. All right, y equals 3, and y equals -2. And all of a sudden now we have 2 slopes. The slope of the first line is 0. The slope of the second line is 0. Are they parallel or perpendicular?
Parallel.
Do they have the same slope?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. X equals 2 and y equals 3. All right, x equals 2. What's the slope of the first one? No slope. And what's the slope of the second one? 0. Parallel or perpendicular? Perpendicular. Which, by the way, I tried to show you over here. Do you see how they are reciprocals of each other? Now, perpendicular lines are supposed to be negative reciprocals, but it's really hard to make 0 negative. Because 0 doesn't have, it's the only number that we use that doesn't have a positive or negative. Do you see those are opposites of each other, though? Yes. Okay, so it still fits our definition. All right, x equals 2, and x equals -1. What are the slope of both of those lines? X equals? Oh, the slopes are both no slope or undefined. Parallel or perpendicular? Parallel. Okay. So how do you? So I'm building up to this. Like I got you to graph 6, then I got you to graph 6 together to start thinking about how would I? Because the same thing would have come up that Sarah asked. Again, I love these questions of people that really focus on their homework. They're just awesome, great questions. Because if all of a sudden I asked you, I think I'm on this one. Is that the last 3?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. If all of a sudden I said, here's x equals 4, and I say, give me a line that's parallel or perpendicular to it, I'm afraid you'd get kind of stuck because there's no y equals mx plus b on these. Okay? So we'll talk about what to do. Do you realize you have to use 2 different letters to make it perpendicular? A y equals and a x equals? Okay. Y equals 1. Y equals 1. Where are you? I don't know why it wouldn't do it before, sorry. All right, y equals 1. Y equals 1. The ghost in the room. X equals -3. The first one has 0 slope. The second one has no slope or undefined. Parallel or perpendicular? Perpendicular. All right, now look at this one. X equals 1 and y equals 0. Is this the only line I could have given you that was perpendicular to this one? Couldn't I have given you any y equals? So on the test, if I say give me a line perpendicular to x equals -1, Eliza could give me y equals 3. Grazia could give me y equals 1. Rebecca could give me y equals 0. Victoire could give me you could give me y equals anything. I don't care. Okay? All right, this one was right here. All right, and x equals -2. Can you already tell what these are going to be now before you even graph them? If you have an x equal and a y equal, aren't they going to be perpendicular?
Yes.
Back to this one. The first one, x equals 1, had no slope, and y equals 0 had 0 slope. X equals -2. All the x equals are going to have no slope, and the y equals 1 is going to have 0 slope. So that was that part of the homework. Let's go to Delta Math. And I have the ability on my view to just click through until we run into problems that you want to see. So lucky me. Speaking of who's going to teach Algebra 2B, I tell Miss O'D all the time, she hopes it's her, because I tell her all the time how awesome y'all are. I do it all the time. I'm like, you're going to love next year's class. So, yeah. And let's see. Sometimes in high school, things start to mix and match, but like Mr. Hill has this, the seniors he has this year, I had in 9th grade kind of an algebra, we didn't call it Algebra 2A, called it something else then, but it's different people are in there now. Like people come and go and kind of mixes and matches. But a lot of you will be together. Okay, so probably can't do it since it's a sample student page. Let me see. Okay, so let me return to the teacher account. Yeah.
Next year in Algebra 2B, will we be with 9th graders?
No, you'll probably be together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just
Was it line equations from point slope, wasn't it? Was it this, girls?
That was for,
Is that your Delta Math homework?
yeah.
yes. Was
No.
it? The first one. Yeah.
Line equations from point slope. Well, that's what I just had. So I had this. Yeah. So it was that. Okay. And so here I would say y, I don't have any, y minus 0 equals 5/4 parentheses x minus 4. Whoa.
Did I do that? I don't know.
X minus 4.
It's in point slope. Oh.
Okay, so this is, I think, what Sarah was asking. Girls, and she's right. I'm glad she's asking. She can't fill this in a y minus y equals m times x minus x. That's why I also gave you the worksheet, but you're still maybe not going to clue in until you have a teacher model it for you. What is the equation of the line that passes through -4, -8, and has undefined slope? Undefined slope, you might even need to think to yourself like this. Draw yourself a picture of undefined slope. Draw an axis. Undefined slope would be that one, right? That you couldn't manage to navigate. Isn't that going through which axis? The x-axis. So all undefined slopes will be x equal to x. So it's really easy once somebody shows you. And so this will just be, here, see my x value right here? Look at my cursor, girls. So it's just x, because you may have skipped those and still gotten 100 on Delta Math, so we need to be sure we can do them. X equals -4. It's that easy, okay? All undefined, just grab the x and make it go through the number they give you.
That's what I did. And then the ones for zeros, you just put the y.
The y.
That's how I did
Wait,
it.
but then what happens to the y guy?
Okay, I'm going to get to you, Daniela. Girls, what's this one going to be?
Y equals No.
Wait, it says undefined.
X equals -5.
X equals -5. So do you see how, and some of y'all maybe figured it out by looking at delta math, but she's right. All of a sudden, if she has undefined slope, she can't use y minus y and m and all that. Okay, so now let's keep looking. All of those are normal. Y'all have gotten really good at that. There we go. Well, that one's kind of hard to tell since it's 3, 3, but I would say a slope of 0 is this way, okay? 0. And so it's a it's a y equals. The ones going this way are y equals. You go through the y-axis at 3. The 3 I'm using right now is this 3 over here. Verticals are x equals, horizontals are y equals. Let's find one that's not 3, 3. Or 6, 6. Seriously? Are they going to do that on all of these?
Yes.
Really? On all the zeros, they use the point that has the same values?
They look, I don't know. It just gets the same to me.
So far, it's what I've seen.
It just seems the same.
Oh, here we go. Girls, look. Slope of 0. Slope of 0. X equals or y equals?
Why?
Y equals what? -6. Y equals -6. Okay? All right, now go back and get the worksheet that we did not finish in class. Margot, I sent you one, didn't I? Or did you get one of these? Okay. Thought I did. That's what we had. Okay, everybody look at the top of the worksheet, and everybody close your mouth. Okay? Thank you. All right, so at the very tippy top of this worksheet, this January 9 and probably January 15th, you see it says the equation x equals 5 is a vertical line. You may want to highlight that, underline that, and the next thing with 2 asterisks by it is the line y equals 2 is a horizontal line. So it's in your notes. I didn't expect you to pull all that together yet, or I expected you to figure it out while you were doing the delta math. Do y'all see vertical lines will always be an x equals some number. Horizontal lines will always be y equals some number. Okay? All right. I think we're on the last page, right? Did we do the whole first page?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the second page. Number 9. Give an equation. Give the equation of the x-axis and identify the type of line it represents. All right, so I want to write the equation of a line that gives me the x-axis. So tell me when I hit the x-axis. Now, all right, up here, would y'all agree this would be like y equals 3? Y equals -1. So what's the x-axis? Y equals 0. So fill that blank in. Y equals 0. Number 9. Number 9. Give an equation of the x-axis. The x-axis happens to be, hey girls, this makes great sense. If you want to write an equation of a horizontal line, that's like what Bailey said a second ago. This goes through the y-axis at 3. If I go through the y-axis at 0, I actually get the x-axis. So y equals 0 is the x-axis, and circle the word horizontal at the end. Number 10, guess what the equation of the y-axis is going to be? X equals 0. So number 10, Daniela Good, is x equals 0, and circle the word vertical. All right, here's an x equal anything in the whole wide world, okay? This is x equals, because it's cutting the x-axis at like -5. Now, wouldn't that be x equals 0? Okay. And now, let's go down to number 11. Number 11, On number 11, y equals 0. I want your instinct for a y equals anything to cut through the y-axis, okay? Where's y equals 0? We just figured it out. Y equals 0 is the x-axis. So number 11, you should have a line going just right on top of the x-axis. Number 12. Number 12, x equals -4. X-axis, and you should have this, x equals -4. Number 13, x equals -1. Number 14, x equals 4. Go out 4, slice through the x-axis. Number 15, what shape is it going to be? Y equals 2. Go on the y-axis 2, and it's horizontal.
Yes.
And same for number 16. Y equals 1, 2, 3 across. Oops, sorry, kind of missed it. Y equals -3 would be right there. Sorry, the board's not oriented very well down there. So, if if lines are parallel, you'd either have an, I'm sorry, let me pause for a minute, and I'm watching the time. If vertical lines are parallel, they're both x equals. If vertical lines are parallel, they're both x equals. If horizontal lines are parallel, they're both y equals. What if I want a vertical line to be perpendicular to a horizontal line? I need an x equals and a y equals, okay? One will have 0 slope, one will have no slope. So that packet's done. Bailey.
Oh, it was.
I'm so sorry, I know that. Daniela,
Um,
I know your name, I just ready for the holiday. Go ahead.
is it vertical? Like, are either vertical lines or horizontal lines? Like, will a vertical line always be parallel or perpendicular, or does it vary between both?
A vertical line can only be parallel to another vertical line.
Okay.
A vertical line can only be perpendicular to a horizontal line. You're not going to have any of those y equals mx plus b ones mixed in with these in those questions. But the reason we have to separate them is they're so different because we're not using any of the forms that we've learned. Okay? All right, let me say two things before we go. Your homework will be Delta Math. A couple of things might be a little surprising to you, like solving for x. I just want to make sure you're finding your own way through how you want to solve, how much you want to do in your head. You can check your answer because we're going to super need that for our next thing. And probably some more drill on lines, okay?
Yeah.
But where are you going to look?
Assignments.
Tab. And we might have a quiz. I haven't decided, but you'll see that in assignments if I've decided. If you want to see what you got on your quiz, you can come look. Bye, girls. Have a good weekend. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.